Ah, we're actually live.
Very nice.
And enough data to upload. Let's check that. Yep, we're live. What's this? 1825.
How many people were watching last night?
Don't know. Yes, day 77 and 36 for the setup. That's good enough, whatever. Good, yeah.
Very nice.
Right, let's also set up another camera just in case.
You don't need your tools, do you?
No. Yeah, we're live again.
Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to Barnes Film Festival for the competition for the 90s to 25 age category. I'd like to welcome our judges, director, producer and screenwriter Ian Softley, director and head of screen and audio performance at Lambda Anthony Quinn, and the owner of Olympic Studio, Olympic Cinema, Lisa Burge. The films are ready. All right.
The stars look bright tonight, thought Leaf to herself. In fact, they weren't any brighter than normal, but Leaf was an optimist. After 9 hours, Leaf went to bed. At school the next day, Leaf's class learned how to spell parallelogram, but Leaf didn't. She was asleep. This won't do, thought Leaf's teacher. This child is missing out on a vital education. At dinner, Leaf's parents told her to concentrate more, but she just shrugged. Spelling parallelogram isn't vital, she said. That night, Leaf waited in her bedroom until her parents had gone to bed. Then she tiptoed out into the garden with her binoculars. I know, she thought. I'll build a rocket and fly into space. The next day she skipped school and went to the library instead. To find a book on rocket building, she concentrated very hard. She dreamed about her house and her parents. They were very far away. When Leaf woke up and saw the earth, "Oh, that's very small," she thought. "How do all the houses and boxes and parents and children fit?" She was worried that the earth would get lost. Space was very big. So she took a jam jar and caught the earth inside it. "You'll be safe now," said Leaf. And she put the jam jar on her shelf in her rocket. She was an optimist. Leaf didn't understand the people on her jam jar world. They built bombs to throw at each other, even though there was enough space for everyone. And they made machines that melted all the ice caps, even though they could never get them back. They made the skies go black, while they played with toys they didn't really want. And mostly, they just worried about little paper rectangles with the Queen's face on them. People are very confusing, thought Leaf. Sometimes she wished she could move her house to another planet which made more sense. But all the others were too gassy, or too square, or too hot, or too thin, or too cold, or too small. These people are destroying the only planet they've got, thought Leaf. How strange. I know. I will write them a letter. So she did. And she took the jam jar and opened her rocket. And very carefully she put the earth back in space where she had found it. All the way home, she thought about the tiny little world, with all the houses and boxes and parents and children on it. On the way home, she stopped off at a house where a nice man called Carl lived. "Please read this to everyone," she asked Carl, because she knew that the people on Earth didn't listen to little girls. Then she flew home. That night, the nice man called Carl opened the little girl's letter while she sat in her garden and watched the stars. This is what it said.
Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. Like it or not, for the moment, the earth is where we make our stand. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the only home we've ever known.
This is Snowdonia National Park. The geological and geomorphological processes that created this dramatic and beautiful landscape are well understood today. But in 1831, when Charles Darwin first came to these mountains and valleys of Snowdonia, our scientific understanding of what formed them was very different. Scientists recognized that something powerful and dramatic must have created this deeply scarred landscape of rocks, valleys, and mountain crags. At the time, the origins of the Earth were fiercely discussed, and the consensus was that it must have been created by the biblical flood. This theory was known as diluvialism. It wasn't until 1842, after Darwin had returned from his famous voyage on the Beagle, that he recognized his mistake. He wrote, "On this tour I had a striking instance of how easy it is to overlook phenomena, however conspicuous, before they have been observed by anyone. A house burned down by fire did not tell its story more plainly than did this valley.
Oedd Charles Darwin yn myfyriwr diddordeb mewn daeareg ac mewn botaneg. Wedyn mi ddoth o yma efo Adam Sedgwick I diwtor felly I wneud y gwaith maes. Mi oedd Adam Sedgwick yn mynd bob blwyddyn I wneud gwaith maes yng Ngogledd Cymru herwydd bod o efo'r mynyddoedd diddorol yma.
Darwin's sort of interest in that was, I'd imagine, trying to get his head around the timescale, the age of the Earth. So of course he was very interested in bedrock because that was sequences going back hundreds of millions of years.
Mi oedd pobl yn credu mai llifogydd Noah oedd yn gyfrifol am lunio'r tirlun. Wedyn dyna be oedd y gred bod dŵr wedi symud y creigiau o gwmpas y lle. Wedyn y Darwinian theory enghraifft graig o gwmidwal ella yn y fennau a mi fysa hwnna'n yr atig wedyn herwydd bod o yn graig o fath gwahanol mewn lleoliad anaturiol.
In Cwmidwal, you've got sort of local versions of erratic, so you'll have on top of a sort of outcrop of rock, you'll have a big boulder that's obviously been transported somehow, otherwise, how would it have rolled up hills, that kind of thinking. So it's something that doesn't belong where it actually is today.
Dwi'n siŵr bod nhw wedi cael am hyn bod dim dŵr o diffinio'r tirlun herwydd mae dŵr yn ffurfio dyffrynnau bach cul tynion a mae'n siŵr bod nhw wedi gweld Cwmidwal fel lle agorad llydan efo llawr fflat. Dwi'n gweld y godfod tu ôl fi, mae'r dyffryn efo llawr fflat arno fo. Wedyn mae'n siŵr bod nhw'n mewn cranu penna, mae'n siŵr, chydig bach. Dydy theori o dŵr yn siapio'r tirlun ddim yn gyson yn yma lly.
How could these rocks have been moved if not by a biblical flood? Darwin wrote, "Nothing before had made me thoroughly realize that science consists of grouping facts so that general laws or conclusions may be drawn from them." We spent many hours in Cwmidwal examining the rocks with extreme care, as Sedgwick was anxious to find fossils in them. On his first trip, Darwin discovered the fossils of prehistoric sea animals in the erratic boulders at Cwmidwal, 1,200 feet above sea level.
Felly, da ni wrth ymyl llyn Idwal wan, a dwi'n rhaid ti ôl fi mae creigiau Darwin. Ella dod creigiau o'r fath yn golygu dim byd llawer I bobl ar y pryd, ond na ddim pwysigrwydd yn nhw. Mi oedd I ffeindio creigiau'n môr o gwmpas ac o hynny wedyn wedi cyfrannu at I ddamcaniaeth.
Darwin had found fossils of sea animals at Cwmidwal. But how had these rocks got here, this far away from the ocean?
Tua 400 miliwn o flynyddoedd yn ôl, mi fysa'r tirlun da ni weld ŵan ar waelod y môr yn cyhydedd y de, a fel oedd platiau tectoneg yn symud, bydd o ddodion yn cael ei redeg I llawr, roedden nhw'n creu heina o wahanol fathau graig. Fel oedd y platiau tectoneg yn gwrthdaro, mi oedd yn creu plygiadau yn cramen y ddaear lly. Ac pan o hynny gychwyn, o'ch chi'n cael bwa neu plygiadau efo synclain ar y waelod ac anticlain ar y top. A be ddigwyddodd oedd yr heina lle oedd yr anifeiliaid môr yn cael ei gwthio tuag at y wynaf.
Discoveries like this helped Darwin understand the perpetual changes of our ancient planet. He wrote, "Tell Sedgwick I have never ceased to be thankful of that short tour in North Wales."
You can't not admire their sort of dedication to the subject. It would have been sort of hammer and chisel and come out here with notepads and books, I imagine. They'd have been in all weathers. you know, to even get to the foot of this hill, it would have been an epic sort of journey. The fact that they made all of that effort, and it wasn't actually, without knowing what the end goal was, it was purely in the spirit of inquiry. You know, it was wanting to find out more.
The young Charles Darwin left Cornwall fairly satisfied with his geological trip and everything he had learnt in Snowdonia. He wrote, "On returning home from my short geological tour in North Wales, I found a letter from John Henslow informing me that Captain Fitzroy was willing to give up part of his own cabin to any young man volunteering to go with him without pay as naturalist to the voyage of the Beagle." Little did he know he was about to develop one of the most groundbreaking scientific theories of all time.
His father thought he was a waster, and in fact when he got this letter from Fitzroy, his father said, "No chance. You've given up being a doctor, you've given up being a clergyman, it's going to cost me a lot of money, this is a complete waste of time." Whereas Darwin's uncle came over and said to his father, Robert Darwin, he said, "Look, you've got these top people, Cambridge, you've got the Sedgwick and Henslow, these people are not monks, they obviously realise that he has this talent which hasn't been fully recognised, you've got to let him go."
Darwin's time in South America proved hugely beneficial. He was now older and far more knowledgeable. He had spent many years as part of the Geological Society of London. I read before the Geological Society papers on erratic boulders of South America. In the summer of 1842, I was stronger than I had been for some time, and took a little tour by myself in North Wales. This excursion interested me greatly, and it was the last time I was ever strong enough to climb mountains or take long walks, such as are necessary for geological work.
I think he must have started to realise also that he was in his illness, so he might not be able to do it again. It's important to realise that he loved North Wales, he absolutely loved mountains. So, one of the hallmarks of a top scientist is they're the ones that worry, have I got it right? And he'd written about this, and he had been criticised by people, so he would have to go back and check it out.
I had a striking instance of how easy it is to overlook phenomena.
Pan ti'n cael rhywbeth mor amlwg ar rhywlyf, a ti'n gweld effaith rhywlyf yn Ne America, a wedyn ti'n gweld effaith rhywlyf yn fan hyn, mae o'n bron yn amhosib i rywun o allu Darwin wedyn i beidio ystyried, o ie, rhai os ni'n gwneud hyn lle.
But neither of us saw a trace of the wonderful glacial phenomena all around us. We had not noticed the plainly scored rocks, the perched boulders, the lateral or terminal moraines.
You would have just seen that the shape, just purely the shape of Mount Sprancon for one thing, but the U-shaped valley, and the erosional features, you know what we're standing on here, this sort of rounded Roche-Montonic, it would have just made him think back to South America, you know, when you observe exactly what we're standing on now, but with cover of ice over most of it. It would have just been a light bulb moment.
I think it is interesting to ask why he got it wrong, but he obviously had a hypothesis in his head and didn't look for alternatives. It wasn't until he had all the experience of Beagle, thinking, became a great thinker, that he realised that he had to reject that hypothesis and have an alternative one.
A house burnt down by fire did not tell its story more plainly than did this valley. If it had been filled by a glacier, the phenomena would have been less distinct than they now are.
When the astronomer Carl Sagan went into space, he took a camera with him. And with that camera, he took a photo of Earth. And when he was asked what could he see through that camera, he described the Earth as a pale blue dot. In that photo, there was only one blue dot, because there is only one Earth, because that's how unique our planet is. And that got me thinking, is there a place on Earth, a blue dot place, if you will, that provides a view as unique as that? And I thought, yes there is. This is the 100-mile view. When the Herodian Space Project were trying to find an elevated launch site for their HAB balloon to fly from, I knew this was the place. It was the opportunity to see my own blue dot place like never before. And I know you're wondering, how do you see the 100-mile view like Carl Sagan did? Well, this is how. What the Herodian Space Project was doing at Slade's farm in Gloucestershire was launching a high-altitude balloon, or HAB balloon. This was an unmanned balloon that travelled to the edge of the atmosphere where some air was still present. It would then take photographs of the views below, and it would tell us its location through a GPS tracker throughout its flight. On the day of this flight, I began filming, and I made a beeline to Mr. Murray. I wanted to get his input on the day's roster and what he felt about the fact that the Herodian Space Project was actually about to launch.
My name's Jake Murray, I'm head of design at Herodian, and we've been trying to launch this balloon for almost 4 years. Something has always gone wrong. We've tried to use technology that we didn't understand, we've highlighted holes in the curriculum, gaping holes in the curriculum that we now appreciate that we would have needed in order to make our initial attempt, which was a bit more sophisticated than the one we're launching today, with a flight computer, which involved building a computer and then programming it, and then more advanced tracking. So we've gone for a slimmer, more manageable solution today, which, fingers crossed, should work.
After hearing that, I wanted to see what our other team leader, Miss Morris, had to say.
Hi, I'm Miss Morris, Julie, and when I first started at the Herodian, I heard about Mr. Murray's space project, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I really love doing things like tying knots and all this stuff, but more importantly, I really love the idea of space and the whole project. I was like, this school gets to send something to space, how cool is that? Well, I work in an amazing place. And so I was just like, Mr. Murray, will you let me have a go at this? Do you need an extra hand? And he was like, of course. And yeah, basically since then, he's just come and he's asked me loads of questions when he wants help with technical things about physics and forces and calculations of space and time and distance, and I've just loved it. It's been really, really exciting, and I can't believe we're here on a glorious day and we're about to launch.
Setting up the balloon was by no means a cinch. I decided to interview some more of the team members to get a better idea of the makings behind the HAB balloon.
I'm Ollie, and I am currently trying to fix this radar system, which just means that it reflects the waves that come onto it from the air traffic control.
At this point, the other team leader, Mr. Wardell, was pumping helium into the balloon. This was a benchmark moment in the project.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm a glorified driver, but at the moment I'm filling the balloon with helium, which is going alright so far. It's a stressful moment. It's definitely one of those times where everything can go wrong, and yeah, hopefully, with a bit of luck, we will soon have an airborne balloon, which we will then tie to our tank here to keep it nice and grounded. We will then attach our payload, top up the helium, ring the local airport, and after that, away we go.
By now, the balloon was starting to take shape, so I decided I'd ask Connor what he was doing in the Herodian Space Project.
Okay, my name is Connor Pickin. I'm a student at Herodin, and I've come along today to capture it with my camera. So I'm filming, capture the whole event, the process of it, and just so we have it on record. And I'm also currently just holding up the balloon that we are going to be sending up into space, because we don't want it flying up at the moment, getting punctured or anything really. So we've got to do it very carefully just in case.
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Just let go of it. Alright. Look at that.
The capsule was now starting to near completion. Mr. Murray and our technician Ozan were making the final preparations with the electronics.
Right, so my name's Ozan, and we're currently putting the whole capsule together, as you can see. And we have 2 GoPros in here. Here are 3, one black, one silver, and they'll be powered by this power bank. This power bank goes to this splitter, then gets distributed to 2 mini USB cables, which run into the GoPros.
And finally, at long last, the moment we'd all been waiting for had arrived.
Video. And goodbye. Oh my God, it's gone off the years. So many years.
It's free.
It's free.
And with that, the race began. Each team wanted to get there first to see our balloon land, and maybe prevent it from landing anywhere where it couldn't be retrieved. We all had a rough idea of the route the HAB balloon would take, because of a map we printed showing the wind direction. However, we couldn't rule out any potential interferences, such as strong gusts or obstacles, which could disrupt the flight path. So it was vital that the spot tracker in the capsule communicated to the tracking app on our phones. Although we tested the tracking app, we were given a bit of a surprise when the tracker wouldn't communicate throughout the balloon's ascent. So we had to drive in a southeasterly direction towards St. Albans. All 3 teams were in the dark. By this point, the balloon had reached its highest altitude of around 34 kilometers up. It still hadn't communicated with any of the 3 teams. My team, Team Murray, had just passed through Oxford when the balloon suddenly started communicating with us. Its descent rate was much faster than anticipated. Moreover, it got caught in a stray gust of wind and began heading towards Aylesbury. Consequently, each team reacted differently to the balloon's sudden change in flight direction. We all chased it on our own routes, following the ping updates all the way to the town of Hoddesdon in Hertfordshire. And finally, after 4 years of hard work, after driving over 230 miles, after encountering a plethora of issues along the way, we managed to achieve our goal. We had found the landing site of our HAB balloon. Against all the odds and impossibilities, the Herodian Near Space project was a success, even if the balloon did land in a tree.
Try and pull it.
I've tried. Oh, that's...
And when we removed the GoPros from the capsule, we had no idea of the amazing sights we were about to see. So that is how I managed to see planet Earth and the 100-mile view, just like Carl Sagan did.
Nianze mahali kuna maana. Sasa naweza mahali kuna maana. Wewe kwanza kwa nini? Kuna kitu napata. Sikiliza nikwambie, maana imefika wakati. Tuchocheane sisi kwa sisi. Tuinuane sisi kwa sisi. Tutiane moyo sisi kwa sisi. Unapoona nabii ana mafuta, chochea hayo mafuta. Ukiona mchungaji wako amebeba mafuta, anza kumchochea. Anza kumchochea. Anza kumchochea. Hallelujah.
Kilima, lakini kilima ndio tumbaku iko na pesa nyingi, lakini yenyewe ni mbaya. Unapigwa yako
tumbaku ndio tunalipo kwa kilo kufuatana na kilo na grade nzuri ya tumbaku.
Okay, tobacco, for it to grow well, then you have to prevent it from diseases. And that is why we talk of chemicals. You have to apply chemicals.
It's no longer viable. He did a good job in the 1950s in educating people, having them get an income to put up the houses. That was then.
Vile vile tena nikalima tena hiyo tumbaku tena nikalima, alafu nikaona mambo ya tumbaku ni magumu, natafuta kuni.
And I want to say that tobacco is a good crop.
So I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to thank you that you as an international community will be approaching many of the embassies to be able to address some of the issues that have stayed with us since independence in 1963. The CDF seat is too small.
So you do like this, you roll it, and then press a thumb, and then it comes kind of scoop. Press it. This one has a spoon, and then like that. And then you continue. Press like that. In the depression, you put the vegetables and the soup. So you don't need a spoon. Gentlemen.
Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. God is good, and all the time. Asanteni sana.
Scientists have warned of dramatic and irreversible environmental changes. Earth Day is the world's biggest moment to reflect on the damage that is being done to our planet and how humanity can help. The designated day is intended to help change people's behaviour so that they can work to protect the planet. That mission has never been more vital, but it has also never been more difficult.
Air pollution currently causes 1.6 million premature deaths annually in China alone, and this is set to rise dramatically over the next few years. Children under the age of 16 are currently being transported out of Asia for a better life in the West.
The number of deaths caused by air pollution, including ground-level ozone, particulate matter, and indoor pollution are expected to skyrocket, now killing more than 6 million people per year. This will be the end of humanity as we know it.
Sorry. I didn't mean to go at you like that. I just hate. You're probably right. I just wanted to believe it a little longer. Look, perhaps might still be alive. I don't know. I suppose I've just learned not to hope. Sometimes I wish everything wasn't so logical and matter of fact. Yeah, me too. I always wonder what it was like, back then. It seemed like a different planet. I suppose it was. I could describe it. Imagine this place could ever look like that. I know. My mum used to tell me about how the sky was dark at night. How she used to spend hours watching it. I never got to see it though. She was sure I would one day. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years. She truly believed we were going to turn around over there. It was supposed to be a safe place where we did a U-turn and reversed all the damage. I suppose this kid's just not around to see the reality. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? We're not the ones that caused this yet. We're the ones suffering. Would we have been any different though? Would we have done the same if we were born back then? Probably. Curse of our species, right? Selfish. Clueless, yeah. It is hard though, sometimes. What? Leaving the futureless children? I used to dream. I wanted to be a scientist, make a difference in the world. It's all they ever spoke about, you know? My parents were crazy. I don't ever remember a time when this wasn't hanging over our heads. Although China was one of the first to go. But it must have been all over the news over here though. It was. My parents just hid it from me. I'm sure they had the best of intentions, but somehow I wish I'd have known right from the beginning. Would have made letting go easier, you know? This could all be part of the plan, you know? The test. This could all be part of God's big joke. What? It could be, you never know. There must be a reason for all of this. For us, for everything. Can you hear yourself right now? We're all sick. We're dying, and you still believe we're part of some bigger plan. What? Is Jesus going to come down and sacrifice himself for the second time so we can live? Or maybe he'll miraculously cure the whole world. One touch and it's green on the ground again. I don't know. But this can't be it. There must be something coming. There's nothing. No saviour, no cure, no solution. I thought we'd gotten past it. Past what? This illogical concept that helps people to secure a purpose in this world. It means nothing. Surely we've exceeded the need for it by now. So you want me to just accept it? We just die and that's it. Turn up, nothing left. I know it's hard to accept, but yes. If there was a God room, why would he allow all the suffering we've endured and inflicted on other species, on Mother Earth itself? Answer me that. You can't run. Hide from it. This is our reality. Nothing we can do, nothing that can save us from ourselves. I don't want to die. I don't want to be sick anymore. I want to be able to hope, to dream, to believe that there's something out there that's better for us. I'm sorry. Sorry, but I just didn't accept I'm so great and here dying moment by moment.
know what you want to say. There is no hope through it. We won't live to fall madly in love, travel the world, get married, have kids. We don't have that privilege. We're on a tiny dot in the middle of a vast universe just waiting to die.
What's the point then, Emma? Why don't we just kill ourselves now? I mean, really, that's what you're saying? What's the point in anything we do when in the end, it all means nothing? We spend so much time thinking about death. We're forgetting to enjoy the time we have left. We're forgetting to take everything as a gift, regardless of what comes up. You're right. I want to hope. I want to be happy. I don't want to die before I'm 20, but my dad's die either. Sometimes I think I should just agree to go with him. Don't say that, you idiot.
Why not? He knew what was going to happen. He just sped up the process. Better than eventually suffocating, right? Could just end it all now, you know. I mean, you're right. What's the point? Sick of the pain. Sick of the waiting. Sick of watching my family get hurt. Emma, please don't. But why not?
Because I need you.